Hello, and welcome to the Youth Pulse podcast with me, Dikodi Andrew, where we discuss pressing issues of this generation with heartful conversation, inspiring stories, and diverse perspective on girl-child marriage, reproductive health, education, youth champions, and climate, among other compelling topics, meeting your needs. Join us today to be informed, empowered, and engaged. The Youth Pulse podcast is speaking from our hearts. Welcome to the Youth Pulse podcast. My name is Dikodi Andrew, where a platforms as youth, we are speaking it from our hearts, and each and every time that we get encounter with you people and our guests, it's definitely a new episode and a new conversation that we are going to be tackling together. And this time we are going to be talking about unity, diversity. How can young people actually come together to foster collaboration among South Sudanese communities and as well a diversity among the different communities that we're in? So get ready to the heartful stories, inspiring ideas, and meaningful conversation as we are amplifying the power of unity with my two amazing guests. So, as I mentioned it already, I do have some two amazing guests. So, why not we introduce them and then we can carry forward. So, left or right? Okay, you can go ahead.
All right. Dear listeners, my name is Stili Ayuen. I'm a peace activist, the executive director of Peace Media.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm so excited to be part of this amazing discussion to dive into the reasons why we should promote diversity in our country and also in the context of our continent. So thank you so much.
All right.
Hello, listeners. My name is Moch Simon. Simply, I'm a poet, writer, and then an author at the same time, and then the founder of Poetry Connect. And more importantly, I'm a youth South Sudanese who's eager to make changes in this country.
Okay.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay. And as much when we have introduced the episode, we talked about diversity or unity in diversity. What first comes to your mind when you hear unity in diversity? What does it mean to you personally?
Personally, I understand the word unity in diversity as a form of people unifying under different dimension. You can call it different field.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, there was always that one target that unify everyone, and that is the unity. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are, but then you might be people of different colors, people of different height, different tribes, but then there is always one core, or there's always one light at the end, and that is the unity.
Yeah.
That means unity in diversity simply means different people of different background uniting to become one under one goal.
Okay. Ewan, could it be different from you?
Not really, just a kind of related. Of course, unity in diversity is more of racial, religious, and also tribal unity, whereby people come from diverse communities, diverse religions, diverse communities, and also talk of people with disabilities,
Yes.
their inclusion in decision making. Also women, their inclusion in decision making. So unity in diversity is more of leaving no one behind in decision making, in contributing to the society. So I will just simply say it's uniting different kind of people under the same umbrella.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the context of our conversation or the topic of that we are handling, it's more specifically on the tribal part of it, in which in South Sudan we are 64 tribes, right?
Yeah.
The time that I could remember that we South Sudan, or the nearest or the memory that stick with me till now, is when I was at university. People were competing for Culture Gala, in which it was an international university. Different countries are coming together, portraying what culture do they have when it comes to dance, when it comes to songs, when it comes to food, or even attires. In which in my university, South Sudan was the first. Actually, they were the first winners, and they continually being a winner, because also the last edition, which happened I think some 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, they also won. And also when I saw last time South Sudan also came together, it was during the basketball game as well, them coming together. But for you as I win, like what memory do you have of people coming together or collaborating together with their different communities?
Well, I will share my just one of the exciting moment in my life, which is participating in Yali. We also have kind of different exchange program, but
Yes.
my participation in Yali gave me a sense of that no one is actually different.
Yeah.
So we were like different. We were different tribes,
Mhm.
but later when we joined together to
Into South
participate in the
Sudan.
program
Mm.
to represent South Sudan,
Mm.
it was like just people from the same family
Mhm.
just going out there to meet other families.
Mhm.
So it was really amazing. And of course, I still remember the exciting memories
Yeah.
we had together.
Yes.
So I just can't imagine how South Sudan would be if we embrace diversity in such
That's
a
for
way,
sure.
when we just see ourselves as families
Mm.
instead of
Differences.
different differences.
Okay.
Yeah.
Much?
Yeah, to me, you know, when we connect
Mm.
our cultures, or when we bring them together, and the more important things where we find unity is when we have respect for one another,
Yeah.
another's culture. And then, basing on my experience, I have moved a lot. Especially East Africa, I have moved.
Mm.
Started moving when I was 7,
Okay.
alone.
Mm.
Not because my parents were not there,
Mm.
but then because of some other circumstances, they could not move with me until they
Mm.
have been moving like that.
Mm.
So what I've seen so far, all these journeys and all across East Africa and then across South Sudan,
Mm.
if I'm to look at different cultures, I get to understand that what we put in our cultures is the energy and respect and
Mm.
honor. So it become so unfortunate if someone try to talk against your culture.
Mm.
And this is where you find if someone respects your culture, that
Mm.
person become automatically your friend, simply
Mm.
because so and so respects the other one's culture.
Mm.
And based on my experience, like last time when we went to Kisumu for East African Poetic Hour Battle,
Mm.
South Sudan team, I wasn't participating, but then I led the team to that side.
Okay.
When we were in the finals, because there are normally 3 rounds, the other one, two are determined by the judges,
Mm.
and then the last one is determined by the audience.
Okay.
So now, when Priscilla Yuen and Alec Paul,
Mm.
when they were in that last stage,
Mm.
and they were told to perform in their languages,
Mm.
local languages, even if the Kenyan did not
Understand.
understand, the language these two were speaking, but they really got the vibe,
Mm.
and these put the audience on feet,
Mm.
and they were pushed to the
The
finals,
finals.
and that is the first runners up and then the second.
Mm.
So, and us also exchanging other conversation in cultures, I came to realize that no matter how far we go, you'll find that there are similarities in our cultures in one
Yes.
way or the other.
And even for a fact that about similarity, I happen to know Gali fi Kudra Kamat fi Nigeria, but it's just having a different name.
Even Okra is there.
Yes. Fi Masr. Binadi Molokhia, Ma Molokhia de Khudra. But they also have a name as well.
Even the Congolese have, but then
Mm.
there's a mode of them cooking it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you find that it's the same soil that we are in,
That's
and
for
the
sure.
same products that are coming out.
Mhm.
So what is more important is respecting one culture,
Mhm.
and then with that, I think you'll find there's a lot of peace and harmony in that, and that definitely, when there's peace and harmony,
Mm.
unity is there automatic.
Okay. In another hand, also, I would love to know from you, Iwen, like, what do you think about the biggest challenge that is hindering or stopping the youth between working in between themselves? Because as I have mentioned, this is 64.
Yeah.
And there's no that unity in between us as youth, or if it's there, yes, it's with a little percentage, but we are getting it there. But for you yourself, like, what do you think is the biggest challenge young people face in working together across the tribal lines?
Actually, I will say that we have a lot of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of challenges because we don't have strong institutions that are supporting us to actually try to solve all these challenges.
Mm-hmm.
But I will just analyze some few challenges we are actually facing as young people.
Yes.
First, talk of education.
Mm-hmm.
When we educate young people, we educate the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And when we educate the nation, we come up with a solution
Mm-hmm.
to the challenges, the all challenges we have. Yeah. So I will just say, talk of education in remote areas.
Mm-hmm.
For example, my home village.
Mm.
If I talk of my home village, there is no school there.
Mm.
And now, imagine a young child being raised by a parents from such a remote area.
Mm.
Later on, how will the future of that kid going to be? So, and definitely we say, if you are not educated, or if you are not taught well,
Mm.
then there is more chance of you becoming a wild kid or a spoiled kid. Yeah, and that's why you see many youth now, or let me say youth in different diverse communities in remote areas
Mm.
are actually engaged in communal violence.
Okay, now this is about the rural areas, yeah? But still, I feel with us, even Anajua Medina, we went to school, we have acquired knowledge, can the diploma, can the degree, can the master's, can the PhD or doctorate. It's still, I feel like it's a lot needed yet to be changed or needed to be added.
Yeah, so I guess youth lack platforms
Mm-hmm.
to actually engage among themselves.
Okay.
You may find young people, let me say from Western Barakazal,
Mm-hmm.
they are not engaged in any activity.
Mm.
They are just there lousy.
Mm.
Maybe youth from Equatoria, they are not engaged.
Mhm.
And later on, when you see people not engaged, actually, there's a proverb that says, an idle ant is the devil worshiper. So I guess if we are not engaged in anything, then we can actually think of becoming up with evil things
Yes.
that can actually affect our
That's
communities
for sure.
later. So if we need to try to come up with solutions, then these kind of challenges are actually what we are facing.
Okay.
Talk of hate speech also.
Mm.
So I'm going to analyze that later.
Okay. What?
Yeah, what is affecting youth mostly is that not because you don't know what we are doing, but then we have this excitement of being at the forefront of everything.
Mm.
But especially when it comes to violence, you
Mm.
need to be the one that is heard, you need to be the one that is seen always, you need to be the one that is respected and all this stuff.
Mm.
Relevancy on the wrong island is what
Yeah.
is affecting us, most
Mm.
of the people, especially the youth. Because everyone needs to be relevant. Doesn't matter what
they do.
what the cause is,
Mm.
but you need to be relevant. So you'll find that you are doing things you're not supposed to do.
Mm.
And the things, it takes us back to culture, it takes back to economics, politics, all forms of the societal setting that we are in.
Yeah.
So you'll find if a youth today, for instance, let me say we are going for maybe football tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and then let me take for instance the case of South Sudan Premier League,
Mm.
and then it is said, okay, the teams are coming from the 10 states,
Yeah.
but then our players are supposed to come from the 10 states.
Mm.
But this is not South Sudan State Tournament, it is
Mm.
South Sudan Premier League.
Mm.
So if you find that we are having only the people of our own tribe occupying a certain team,
Yes.
it won't look presentable.
Yeah.
But then if we reject, if the Western Equatoria guy from Yambio try to join maybe any team from Jonglei states, and
Mm.
you find someone is saying, no, he's from Western Equatoria, I should have
Mm.
joined the other team. Or if someone from Torit is trying to join the one of a will,
Mm.
and then there's also that rejection, someone from Wow trying to join the one of Juba,
Yeah.
and there's that form of rejection. So this takes us to tribal motivation.
Yeah.
But then if we really need to forget that, you said it before,
Mm.
education, no matter what paper you have.
Mm.
So you going to school, that means there's some things that you should eliminate.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not saying you should abandon the culture, but then if you see your culture is preventing, like for instance, if my culture is preventing me from maybe assessing you, from
Mm.
associating with you, and then that that kind of cage, how do I break it? And if I know there's something I need from you, something that might develop me, something might help me proceed, then this is where I start weighing right now. Do I have to stick to the culture and live with that life, or I need to break it a little bit and then get, after all, in the end of the day, you find what you are breaking the norms for is not for the bad. So if we didn't want, if we really wanted to be cultural, then we would have not gone to school.
Yeah.
Could have been home.
That's
Maybe
for
if
sure.
you're a farmer, be there in your garden. If you're a cattle keeper, be there in your cattle camp, and all sort of mean we were living back in the days. But now we have embraced civilization, but then we don't know how to balance the culture and the civilization we are in. So we find we have a lot to do. But as a South Sudanese youth, you need to see what is right.
As you as much, like, have you ever tried to, or have you ever encountered a stereotype or misconception about your community, or even as the nation? As you have mentioned, you've been around East Africa as well, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I have encountered a lot. Let me just give, for instance, I'm a Dinka by tribe. Then I grew up in a society whereby I wasn't only among my people. So sometimes it becomes hard for the Dinkas to know that I'm one of them. The thing with the name also I have, it is shared by 3 tribes in South Sudan: Chuluk, Dinka, then
It's
and
confusing.
Nuer.
Yeah.
So if you find the Nuer, sometimes they call me their son. The Dinkas are here also. The Chuluks are also there. So, but then if I'm with the Dinka, you'll find, unless I speak the language, even sometimes if I speak the language, someone will say, you just learn the language. You see, they will be like, you are Nuer. And if I encounter someone with a hatred for Nuer, it will treat me
Kalas.
like one.
Yeah.
And I've also find in Nuer with the hatred for Dinka, it will treat me like one. Likewise, they should look for any of the two. So here, internally, I have gone through a lot of hell, but then I say this is it. I have to make peace with the situation I'm in, and then I know I need to come up with the ways I can overcome this.
them.
And to me, I always come out to platform. I say, if you go to my all social media handles now, you will not find where I'm posting against anything. Not because there are things that I don't like. There are very many of them. But then even if I speak against that, what does my speaking get at the end? Because most of the things that are happening in South Sudan need action, not words.
Now, getting to here, I went like, how do you think young people can lead in a way of promoting unity among the different tribes as well? Because he told us a story how he is just in between 3 tribes. When he goes to this one, they put him in a certain
So
situation.
you actually belong there.
Yeah. So
What-
yeah, how do you think young people can maneuver with it?
Well, I just guess I was free to actually be the first to start intermarriage in my community. Not in my community, but in my family also. So I guess when we just allow ourselves to associate, when we talk of association, I mean creating platform for young people to engage. When we actually engage together, like we come up together and discuss things that are actually affecting us, not in our communities, but in the context of our country, then we can come up with better solutions. So what I will just say is that young people actually need this. And this is one of the critical things, or the crucial thing, that the government or the organizations or also the young people themselves have to take action. So I mean, platform can actually help us to counter hate speech. They can actually help us to counter misinformation, malinformation, disinformation, other things that are actually affecting us right now as South Sudanese and as a country that is really affected when it comes to social media exploitations. So that is the action that we need to take as young people, coming up with solutions that can actually bring us together as South Sudanese, not as communities, but as South Sudanese, and embracing our diversity. So my friend Moch is actually one of the guys I would actually appreciate, like, because there are just platforms that can bring people together. Like back in the days, then they used to organize some concerts at Sinus Hub.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you might have participated in
Yes,
those.
I did.
Yeah, so some concert, whether poetry, whether reading, whether something cultural. So, and when we organize this kind of concerts, they actually don't just represent a certain community, but they actually represent our diversity and how we can actually integrate our diversity into our daily living
Okay.
as young people.
Okay.
So that is what I can actually put on that.
Okay. Early on, much we have mentioned about education, but in details, what role do you think education can play in fostering understanding between communities? Because like now everybody went to school, but there are still more challenges to be handled, despite us going to school.
You know, there's a proverb that says, even if a donkey go to school, comes out with whatever paper, it being PhD, is being masters, is it being bachelor's, is it being a diploma or certificate, that donkey will always be a donkey. And when it comes to South Sudanese, you'll find that I see the proverb becoming more relevant to us.
We have a lot of donkeys.
So we have a lot of people. But how do we, you know,
Yeah.
how do we come up with a change in this? Because some some want to be. They are not naturally donkeys, but they just want to be donkeys. They don't want to change, not because they cannot change, but they don't want to change. So what I can say is, one, yeah, no, it has become a song. The government should do this, the government should do that, the NGOs. But then, let me sing it maybe once. Maybe the government should improve educational sector.
Okay.
Because the thing is about educational sector should be improved, and also try to change. Improvement does not mean building only, also the curriculum and all that stuff. And then also more things should be introduced, things that deal with especially the these extracurriculum activities. They should be introduced, because this is where transformation is.
Yeah.
Because not each time I'm seeing the blackboard 1+1 find whatever of x and so on.
Yeah.
It won't change anything.
That's for sure.
But then when we bring students outside,
Yeah.
use them to debate, bring them to places like this, also take them maybe participate in a sport.
Sports, yeah.
Because people don't play in classroom, I know that. So you bring them participate in a sport and other activities
Yes.
that will improve in the development of their brain. They will understand beyond class, because at the end of the day, you don't finish school and then you come and work in the classroom. Beyond classroom, what else? There's more to school than that. So improving educational sector should also concurrently move with the improving the outside world, because when you study computer and then you don't go for practical, I think you will not know much about it.
Of course, it will just be there on the paper.
Just like any other course that is done at school. Really, what I can encourage is the vocational training centers, and then when it come now to the big space that is for the educated people, now they are already educated, but then still, even if you are educated, you still need to learn, and learning does not stop. So it takes us back to the formation of spaces that will allow us to exchange our own views and make us understand that when people gather, it does not mean I have to talk with the perception of me being from a certain background. Because when you come to a place, like I said before, you might group yourself that we are from tribe A, we are from tribe B, so we have to sit like that. And we are saying we are civilized. So this is where now we don't want to adopt civilization, but we tell people that we are civilized. That takes us to the proverb of before I say. So we need more platforms, and then we need to improve our educational sector.
Okay, that's for you. And as for you, Ivan, like if you could propose one change that will encourage youth to collaborate between themselves despite the differences of our tribes, what could that change that you would love to see?
one thing I'll actually say is that giving ourselves, allowing ourselves to adapt to our environment. And what I say by that is that to end this blame game actually we have in the country, where we say the government is not doing this, the NGOs is not doing, the NGOs are not doing this, the schools not doing this, my parents are not doing this. Actually, as young people in the country, we are actually, even you become to the age of realizing that what you are doing is just nothing. Because at time when you see graduate students, those who are the graduates, again seeking opportunities for employment, or maybe just sitting there home waiting for employment. So I guess this is one of the challenges we have. And when you are there at your home waiting for employment, later on you see something posted on social media, you say, why could the government be doing this? And actually you start writing hate speech. You start misinforming other people. Yeah, so I guess as young people, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you have, just start a little thing to start engaging. And after that, maybe if you start a platform, try to bring in people from diverse communities.
Yes.
You bring people, you bring PWD, people with disabilities, you bring in women's, you bring in people from different dimensions. And later on you realize that these people actually have something in common, and that's to change the world, to change this country. Yeah. So, and when you try to start a business, come up with a business, try to put your siblings as the CEOs, they are the managers, they are the whatever, and later on you see in few years that business has collapsed. It's just going down. Assuming if this iRadio was going to be, maybe your father was the founder and now you're the presenter.
We'll come at
maybe the gate man is your auntie's son, which is your cousin. So you see, later on you see mismanagement of funds actually happening. Actually, nobody care because this is for your uncle. You know, you just go out at your own time. You will not even be attending Hasia. Maybe for other things you will be outside. So I guess if we really want to change this country as young people, the change that we need to adapt to is embracing diversity. And how do we do it? How do we do that? Is by forming a society that embraces all our cultures, all our people, giving them a platform. Whether it is a company, if you have a company, bring them in from all dimensions and let them be the one working for you. They will actually respect you because you are from different tribe. They will actually respect you because you are a different person. Maybe to their own conception, they will say, I have to respect this guy, my boss, because he actually or she don't know you well. And there is that respect of cultures. There is that respect of different kind of people.
To me, like I said before, for you to have change, you need to accept it. And I personally, I do go like on the opposite direction, especially when the things you complaints about. And that is when they say the government should. Like before, the NGOs, the RI Radio, the Mariah FM should have done this, and you find those are not in any way near to the ethical ways of doing things.
Yes.
Like if there is a storm right now, maybe it happened, unfortunately, it might have killed somebody, and then someone from nowhere will demand iRadio's report immediately right now. It demands any Mariah FM, maybe they happen near here. But then before you put it into maybe a news, there are channels, I believe. I'm not a journalist, but I read a lot about general works and journalism work. So you find that there are procedures in everything, there are procedures that are followed. So you just don't blame someone because he has not done that. So the question is, what is keeping that person from doing what you want to be done? So we are in a generation that is growing up with blame, you know. Should have done this, should have done this. Like I see now on social media, there are people who bring their personal issues to social media. So if I'm to ask my own question of saying, are we judges or what the hell are we doing on social media? I don't know, excuse my language if there's any other age that is watching this, but what do we really need the media, social media platform to present our problems to? If I have an issue with you, I just come straight, follow the way the things are. If it means going to court, we go and get it done. Then to come here and all, you know, through other things. Meanwhile, what I can simply say is, let's stop maybe blaming the government, because if we are wise enough, we could have seen how long have we been complaining. Each year, just like yesterday. Each year, just like yesterday. So you'll find that the word blame is going to go into our DNA.
That's it's already there.
So just to add to that, you see young people misusing social media to the extent of just a 1 week relationship. You post a 1 week relationship on social media, and later on you see after 2 weeks you have already changed your mind, and later on you start deleting. You start deleting the post, and you start writing your emotions. And later you see you are hunting your feelings.
That's for sure.
So I guess it's really out of hand, and we need to stop.
And definitely, when it comes to social media, I think it's high time for us as youth to start using social media in a very right way, and that by promoting and making awareness about using the unity in diversity, because as we keep mentioning that there's a lot of problems, and those problems, maybe our fourth generation, like this is what we are here for, like how are we going to be making it better? Because at the same time, I bet you don't want to stay poor. You don't want to suffer. You don't want to see people dying. And the same goes to you as well, and the same goes to me, and even the people who are going to be watching this. So, like, I feel like since 75% of this country are youth, it's our responsibility, and we need to be taking it personally.
Yeah, maybe to cut you in. You know, I had a friend. He told me there was an incident. That one of 30th August, I think, in 2022, where people said that they were going to go to streets as a lot of people came into my inbox. Some are writing their own articles, then they say, please share this for us. Now, and for me, I have this my own personality. Yeah, the government is whatever people see it as it is. I'm not benefiting from the government.
Yes.
But what I know is, if I'm to become that person that is used to blaming than working, how about if I become the part of this later? Because there's no defined a divine definition that says even you know it, there are people that will come up to you, and that's why you're working day and night at least to be an inspiration to other people. So because you know, maybe after here somebody will come and somebody might be inspired by your work, and she, especially the girls, will wants to work with the iRadio. So I said, if it is bad, yes, it is bad, but then should we run away from that thing which is bad? How about we come in and change it? So the people I was close to, I could reply them. I said, until then, if the change comes, I will be happy, but on my own personal note, I cannot. I have my own ways of understanding this.
Okay.
Because, so most of us are being pushed to do things they are not supposed to do, rather. But then we need to think, not even twice now, because twice is not enough for Junubin. We need to think more than twice.
It's just so crazy, but it's so always beautiful whenever it comes to the Youth Passport, because the conversation is become so sweet, but the time flies so fast.
Absolutely.
But to my guests, thank you so much for coming by the Youth Pulse podcast, and let's continue inspiring each other through our different platforms. And definitely, we're going to be reaching somewhere, because remember, in unity, there is diversity as well, and as well, don't forget that is a strength as the youth of South Sudan. We need to stay together and unite, because as we are going to continue to celebrate and collaborate together across our differences, let's just put in mind we are all South Sudanese, and we are for South Sudan as well. So from me to you, my name is Diko De Andrew. A very lovely afternoon, good morning, and as well good night.
The Youth Pulse podcast is speaking from our hearts.